Hello, teacher. My name is Evelyn Moya, and I'm going to talk about listening skills and in the context of EFL, focus on level C1 of the Common European Framework of Reference. And I'll explain the importance of this skill and the principle of teaching and teaching sequence, among others. So now we're going to see what is the listening. So listening is one of the fundamental skill in learning a foreign language. It is allowed to the student to understand the linguistic input necessary to interact and communicate effectively. Um, so listening is not just a passive process. According to Celce Murcia, it is a complex cognitive activity that involves decoding, interpreting, and construction meanings. A student not only hear words, but also activate prior knowledge, interpret context, and make inference to understand the speaker communicative intent. Therefore, teaching listening involves training strategic mental process. So now we're going to analyze the importance of listening in learning. So from the communicative approach, as Richard and Rogers point out, the language learning occurs through meaningful communication. In this sense, listening comprehension is essential because provide the input that allow other skills such as speaking to be developed. In addition, listening promotes the acquisition of pronunciation, intonation, and authentic discourse structure. So now we're going to see approaches and principles of teaching listening. Hammers proposed organizing classes into three phases: pre-listening, while listening, and post-listening, which allow to progress, guidance, comprehension. Likewise, Rosenshine highlight the importance of scaffolding that is modeling first practices with supports and gradually withdrawing assistance. So now we're going to see teaching sequence. So in the teaching this sequence allows to develop of both top, down, and bottom up processing. So pre-listening. At this stage, prior knowledge is activated in a clear purpose for listening and established. While listening, during this stage, tasks can be designed to test overall comprehension and identification of specific detail and inferences. The last one is post-listening. Finally, the student at this stage can participate in discussions, summarize, or oral production, activities that integrate the information they have heard. So now And we're going to see activities for advanced level C1. At this level, the student must be able to understand extensive and complex discourse, even when it is not clearly structured. Therefore, activities should be include like at this level, they use authentic material is essential. And exercise should go beyond literally question. For example, activities can be designed where a student detect intentions, reconstruct argument, or analyze implicit information which stressing the critical and strategic skill. Like listening for a general idea, analyze of tone and intent, note taking. So now we're going to see challenges and solution in listening comprehension. So in this, we're going to see the challenges. The first challenge is speak and naturalness of speech. So for this, we're going to see it's common for speakers don't articulate carefully. So they use phonetic reduction, interrupt, or change their minds. So the second one is by variety of accent. So in English, there are multiple variants, such as British, American, and Australian. In other words, a student train themselves with just only type of accent, and they get stuck when they face with other one. So the other one is implicit information and nuances. So at this level, C1, speech includes irony, double meanings, implicit opinions, and indirect disagreements. A student understands the literally meaning, but not the intentions. The last one is cognitive overload. So long audio recording combine main and secondary ideas. For example, data and figures. This means the student don't know which information is relevant. Now we can see some solution that we can apply for Get Better. So target, listen, training in metacognitive strategy, progresses exposure to a diversity of accident and gradual scaffolding. So now we're going to see listening at level C1 according to NCER. So in summary, at this level C1, we have to understand extended discourse even when it's not clearly structured, and recognize implicit meaning in the speaking attitude. Follow context debate or especially a specialized topic. Extract specific information for fast speech, identify relationship between ideas even when they are not explicitly started, where they are not explicitly started. So to the end, in resume, conclusion. In conclusion, teaching listening requires strategies, planning, theoretical grounding, and a communicative approach. It is no matter of assessing comprehension, but of training a student to deal independently with a real life communication. This is important because when we face the real life, we have to be able to understand, and even when the native speaker talk fast and change the intonation, we can be able to understand. So it's very important when we practice our listening with movies, because it's the real sound American, or we can practice with other accent like American, British, and our listening can get better. So thank you so much, Miss. Bye. Have a good day.